This video will be introducing you to environment and climate change. In this video, we will be talking about environment and climate change, and you will be learning about climate system, climate change and its causes and also climate actions. Without any delay, let's dive into the video. The Earth is the third largest planet in the solar system based on its distance from the Sun, making it the largest of the terrestrial planets. A geoid, an irregular sphere that is flattened at the poles and widened at the equator, is a good approximation of its shape. Its atmosphere is primarily composed of nitrogen and oxygen, and the surface area of the Earth is approximately 510 million square kilometer, 5.1 by 108 kilometers square. Generally speaking, the term environment refers to Earth or a section of Earth. Human activities have far-reaching effects on the natural world. There are large areas where sources of water can be found, in various states of aggregation. There are roughly 5 billion years between its formation and now. In particular, rotation and revolution are the two fundamental motions that make up the Earth. The first is in sync with Earth's rotation around its axis, the fictitious meridian that runs through the geographic north and south poles. The second has to do with the Earth's orbital motion around the Sun during a solar year, which takes exactly 365 days. The environment is the sum of all the factors, living and non-living, climatic and meteorological, natural and artificial, that influence the well-being of all forms of life on Earth. Earth, water, fire, air, and space are the fundamental components of our environment. It's important to remember that climate and weather are two very different things that occur at different times. Climate is the long-term average weather pattern, typically measured in increments of 30 years. A region's climate is its persistent weather pattern, observed over a long time, and represented by an average of all weather conditions during that time. Some examples of climatic extremes are the wet and hot conditions of the tropics, and the dryness of the desert. What we call the weather is really just the atmosphere's state at any given time. Conditions such as temperature, humidity, cloud cover, wind speed and direction, and visibility could all shift over the course of a few days. Weather, in this context, refers to the state of the atmosphere and how it affects people and their daily routines. The weather is constantly fluctuating, with changes occurring within minutes or even hours. Climate is very hot summer this year. The summer of 2018 is expected to be exceptionally hot. Weather is a rainy day, sunny day, or sudden storm. The day's weather will either be cloudy, sunny, or suddenly stormy. What is climate system? The United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change defines the climate system as the sum of the atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, and geosphere as well as the interactions between them. The atmosphere is the layer of gases that encircles our planet. Hydrosphere, all of the liquid water on Earth, both fresh and salt. Lithosphere, the land and ocean floors make up the lithosphere. Biosphere, the combined marine and terrestrial species of the Earth. Geosphere, everything from the molten rock and heavy metals in the planet's deep interior to the sand on beaches and peaks of mountains is part of the Earth's geosphere. What is climate change? According to the UNFCCC, climate change means a change of climate which is attributed directly or indirectly to human activity that alters the composition of the global atmosphere, and which is in addition to natural climate variability observed over comparable time periods. Climate change refers to the increasing changes in the measures of climate over a long period of time, including precipitation, temperature, and wind patterns. Anthropogenic, consequence or result of human activity or things that have been generated by humans. So, anthropogenic climate change refers to the human-caused global warming. This is as a result of human-caused emissions. According to the UNFCCC, emissions means the release of greenhouse gases and or their precursors into the atmosphere over a specified area and period of time. What are the causes of climate change? Gaseous components of the atmosphere that absorb and re-emit infrared radiation are referred to as greenhouse gases, and this term includes both naturally occurring and anthropogenic gases. Carbon dioxide, CO2, methane, nitrous oxide, fluorinated gases, etc. are all naturally occurring greenhouse gases, but their atmospheric concentrations are rising as a result of human activity. Rising emissions means increases in emissions are due to 1. Carbon dioxide and nitrous oxide are produced when coal, fossil fuels, oil, and gas are burned. 2. Cutting down forests, deforestation. By taking in carbon dioxide from the air, trees play an important role in climate regulation. When trees are cut down, the carbon they had stored is released into the atmosphere through burning or the process of cutting down the trees or through no means of taking the CO2, where all these contribute to the greenhouse effect. 3. Developing a larger livestock industry. Methane is produced in large quantities by the digestive processes of cows and sheep. 4. Equipment and products that employ fluorinated gases release these gases into the environment. The warming effect of such emissions can be up to 23,000 times that of carbon dioxide. What is greenhouse effect? The main driver of climate change is the greenhouse effect. Some gases in the Earth's atmosphere, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, act a bit like the glass in a greenhouse, trapping the sun's heat and stopping it from leaking back into space and causing global warming. Global warming, increases in atmospheric concentrations of greenhouse gases are primarily responsible for the rise in global average temperatures known as global warming. Carbon footprint is the total amount of greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide and methane, that are generated human actions. Climate risk refers to the analysis of consequences, likelihoods, and responses to impacts of climate change, as well as how societal constraints shape adaptation options. Climate change impacts are consequences of climate change, for instance, warming temperatures, severe changes in weather, and changes in precipitation, as well as the effects of Earth's warming, such as rising sea levels, shrinking mountains, and glaciers. Also, ice melting at a faster rate than usual in Greenland, Antarctica and the Arctic is an adverse impact of climate change. What are climate actions? Climate action means mitigating climate change, helping to cut greenhouse gas emissions. Adapting to the impact of climate change by building resilience to phenomena such as flooding, droughts, and other extreme natural disasters. Contributing and understanding the cause of climate change. Climate mitigation refers to the human interventions or involvement to reduce the sources of greenhouse gases or enhance the sinks that remove them from the atmosphere. Sink refers to any process, activity, or mechanism which removes a greenhouse gas, an aerosol, or a precursor of greenhouse gas from the atmosphere.